scaring away. I'm just kidding.
It's all your fault. Push the button. Don't push the button.
We'll get started here in a moment. We just have a little technical difficulties. Looks like we're ready to go. I'll call this Board of Supervisor meeting to order. Excuse me. And as always, I'd like to start the meeting with a Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Danny Wilson, and let's remain standing in for Heather Street to lead us in the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, we ask you for your blessings upon this meeting this afternoon. We ask that you lead, God, direct the supervisors and the decisions that they are making for Smyth County, and may it be pleasing to you as well as to the citizens of Smyth County. Go with us throughout the rest of the afternoon. Give us your travel mercies on the way home, and bring us back here to the next meeting safely. For it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Danny and Heather. We have a couple amendments that we want to make to the agenda. Do I have a motion to accept those?
So moved.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Sounds like it was unanimous. All right. First item on our agenda now is a presentation from Evergreen Soil and Water, and I want to thank you right now for the food you brought in to us. It was greatly appreciated.
Yes,
And can I go ahead and get my name down now for the cedar? I need it. Come on forward and fill us in.
Okay. I think Anna distributed the forms that I was going to go over. We just wanted to come and meet with you all, and we appreciate the opportunity. Just wanted to say thank you for all the funding that you're giving to Evergreen. We appreciate every dollar you give. You've been very supportive of the district over all these years, and we don't take it lightly, so thank you very much. My name is Gina Waddle. I'm here on behalf of our board. Christy Waller is our chairman, David Spence is our vice chairman, our treasurer is Seth Harden, Andy Overbay is a director, and Sarah Gillespie is with us today. She's our director. But we just wanted to present this information before you to sort of show some of the funding that goes through our office. We're also housed with the Natural Resources Conservation Service. Hunter Messer and Dawn Noel are the staff there. They are with us today. The other staff at Evergreen are Mike Horn and Lance Yates. They are also here. So the first item is the Environmental Quality Incentive Program and Conservation Stewardship Program. That brought through the office into Smyth County $1,243,809. And all this is for the fiscal year 22, which was July 1 of 21 through June 30 of 22. We capture the fiscal year because it seems like it would be the most accurate to present to you all. So the next item is the Department of Conservation and Recreation's BMP Cost Share Program. It brought into Smyth County $336,061.82. The next item is the Conservation Reserve Enhancement Program, and it brought paid for 2 projects and brought in $13,788.50 into Smyth County. The North Fork Holston River Implementation Project through DEQ funded 3 residential projects, and that was $1,712.50. It also brought in $6,146.22 of administrative funds. The next item is the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation project. It brought in $3,810 and funded 1 project. The next item is also through the Department of Conservation and Recreation. The operations funding, which is similar to what Smyth County gives to us, it's just for our needs and expenses at the district. That brought in $116,922. Technical assistance funds, $110,534. Virginia Association of Conservation Districts has a program, it's called VCAP, but it's the Virginia Conservation Assistance Program. That funded one project for $13,420. Administrative funds received there was $1,000. The next one, the Department of Environmental Quality. The district purchased a cedar, and through a grant that they made available, we were able to get half of that cost reimbursed to the district, and that was $12,205.68. And with the cedar that the district leases, it seeded we have 4 of them, they seeded approximately 577 acres, and that was the receipts of $7,509.50. Then miscellaneous of $3,230.64. And all of that adds up to $1,870,149.86. And for every dollar, the $30,000 was received from Smyth County. So for every dollar of that $30,000 that Smyth County gave to Evergreen, $62.33 was brought back into the county through our office. But we just wanted to present some of that information to you all, not only just for appreciation, but just hoping that it's pleasing to you all to see some of the additional funding that also comes through the NRCS and Evergreen office. The next page just shows some programs and activities that benefit Smyth County. I won't read every one of them, but we do try to maintain partnerships with our local, state, and federal agencies. We provide service through our tax credit program along with our BNP cost share program. We have the Conservation Reserve Enhancement Program, VCAP, and we also have a line payment program that the district has since, I think it was 2008, started, that we take local funding and give to the community through an application process, and that's pretty popular right now through our office. We rent out 4 cedars. We have been an easement co-holder over the years. We assist with nutrient management plans. We provide a district scholarship program where we try to give out 2 $1,000 scholarships each year. We also work with the Virginia Association of Soil and Water Conservation Districts with their scholarship program. We support the Envirothon competition for high school students. The district makes available youth conservation camp opportunities, and we have an awards banquet each year to recognize outstanding conservationists in Smyth County. We have monthly district board meetings, Area 4 meetings, which is the districts in the Area 4 of the state. The Virginia Association of Soil and Water Conservation Districts annual meetings, we attend those as well. We work by a long-range plan and an annual plan of work. But we just to sum it up, just wanted to say thank you so much. We appreciate it. We appreciate you all and your support for our district. And if we can help you all in any way, just let us know. And if you have any questions, we'll welcome those at this time.
Any questions? What kind of plans you got coming down the road? What kind of new programs? Do you have any idea?
I don't know anything new at the moment. We did apply for a grant that is for underserved of Smyth County, but we're in the preliminary stages of that. So, but that is for the underserved. So.
How about the fencing of the middle fork of the Holston? Where are we standing with that right now?
Our new cost share program starts July 1. So we've obligated the majority of our funding so far for this fiscal year. But we had a TMDL program that closed up last year, and that was for the North Fork. And the Middle Fork, that's probably the one you're talking about. We are working on that. Yes, we are. Yes, sir.
All righty. Any questions?
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you again. You want to make a motion to get Roscoe in with us?
Yes, sir. I'd like to make a motion to allow Mr. Roscoe Call to join us electronically.
Have a motion to second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed likewise? Sound like a unanimous. We got to do something special tonight with this crowd here. Right. I'm not used to seeing this. I appreciate everyone that showed. I know why several of you are here, but I appreciate you being here. I really do. Let me find mine. I got so many notes up here today. It's public hearing. We don't have any scheduled at this point, I don't think. Minutes of the previous meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve, minutes for the previous meeting.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I gave her some changes. She was forecasting the future because it was going to be approving the March, today's meeting. So I suggested she change it to a February date. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed likewise. Sounds like that was unanimous. With all these people sitting here, I'm gonna still try to go in order. If I don't, I'll be putting. Our next item is citizens' time. Anyone here wishing to speak? Rose. You can speak about anything but the library.
Sorry to hear that.
Welcome, thank you.
Good evening, it's great to see y'all. Just wanted to stop by and give you one of the regular updates and tell you what's going on at the library. Like everyone else, I want to thank you for your continuing support, and lately it has taken the form of some facilities support. We had a heat pump that blew out that had to be replaced, and the team was wonderful. Sean and Clegg have been great with our ARC grant, and you're going to be talking about that a little later tonight. And we met today with the Smyth County Public School librarians over at Chilhowie Elementary School and had a great conversation with them. Our story times, which is our normal kind of school year winter program, has been going great. We added a new one starting in January for the homeschool students. So in Marion, in the public library on Tuesdays at 1 o'clock, we're doing what we're calling homeschool story time and homeschool hangout. And we've had as many as 27 homeschool students show up for those story times. And families have gotten to know each other who were having common issues. And so based on their experience in that story time, they're organizing STEM groups to work together. So it's been a really wonderful experience. The seed library has reopened. We have heirloom, the heirloom seed exchange. We had somebody show up in Saltville today with 2 grocery bags of heirloom seeds from her garden, so we'll be happy to add those. This year we're partnering with the Chilhowie Garden Club. We learned last year in our first year that a lot of people are used to growing their gardens from plants, not from seeds. And so we had some failures, and so the Garden Club this year is putting on a program every Friday at 1 o'clock for people who show up with some tips about growing from seeds and transplanting and weeding and watering. And so hopefully we'll have a little more success for some folks. April is Citizen Science Month, and in Chilhowie we will be hatching chicks from eggs using an incubator to give students but also patrons the experience of recording observations of the eggs through the hatching process. And in both Marion and Saltville, they'll be focusing on turtles. We have Sassy the Saltville turtle, and so Sassy will be the feature of some of the programs, and then Sassy will come and visit some programs in Marion. So turtles in Marion and Saltville, and chicks in Chilhowie for Citizen Science Month. And we are heading into a very busy summer. We're of course getting ready for our normal summer reading program, and all 3 locations have a full schedule. We starting in Saltville on June 3rd with a luau and a group of fire dancers, and to kick off at the wave pool in Saltville, and then we'll be going through the summer. We have the magic show, we have the caricaturist, and then story times every week as well. So it'll be a busy summer. But in addition to summer reading this year, we have several other programs. We are joining, as you all have heard me talk about before, the Holston Associated Libraries. So that becomes a reality on June 28th. And we'll be doing a rollout for everybody so people know what's going to be different and what to expect. And so we will be a member of the Holston Associated Libraries, meaning you now have available to you starting June 28th the collections from Washington Public Library, Tazewell County Public Library, Emory and Henry College, and King's University. There will be a courier that runs once a week up here, so if you request something from King's University, they'll drop it in Marion on Tuesday, and it'll be available. If it's going out to the branches, we'll take it out to the branches on Thursdays. So I think that'll give our citizens and our patrons a really wonderful new service. So the computer migration that goes along with that will be the end of June will be a lot of work there. At the same time, we also have that ARC grant project. Once we get it awarded, this summer is when we'll be doing all the work and the community meetings to talk to the community of Saltville about what they want to see in a library, and then hopefully coming up with a great design concept. And finally, we have applied for a digital inclusion pilot project from the Department of Housing and Community Development. And this is to really help people take advantage of the new broadband that's being laid across the county. And we know that this is a tremendous new opportunity for the residents of this county to catch up with what other people have taken for granted for so long. And so we're gonna create a digital navigator program where library staff will be available to help people get access to an affordable internet plan in their home, find low-cost devices, and then get the skills they need to do whatever it is they want to do. And so we're looking forward to doing that. So that's all I wanted to tell you all tonight. I know it's a lot, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I just want to say thank you. I mean, you've been working.
Always happy.
We'll play a song for you.
Yep. But anyway, we appreciate you and let you work with the school system and a lot of things you all got going in the community. You've done a great job. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
I want to warn you on the little chicks that you're getting ready to hatch.
Yes.
As they start hatching, having done this at the Atkins School for 30 years now probably, when the chicks start hatching, parents find a reason to come check on their children. So you'll have a lot more adults in the room.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, so part of the project is obviously we don't have space in the library to keep the chicks. So part of the project is we have people who have already signed up to take the chicks when they hatch. And so people, that was the first thing when they said, we want to hatch chicks. I said, well, what are you going to do with the chicks when they hatch? And they said, okay, we've recruited volunteers, people who want the chicks. Given the price of eggs right now, a lot of people were eager. And so the eggs that we're going to be hatching have all been donated by members of the community. And so when we hatch them, we have people signed up who are ready to adopt the chicks.
Probably could have done a silent auction and raised money.
The kids, I warn you now, the kids love it. Because at Marion Senior High School, they have a deal at the end of the year where the seniors graduate. Excuse me for digressing with this. They have a deal where at the end of the year where the seniors talk about their years in school. And one year when one of my kids was a senior, some other kid made the comment, yeah, but you went to Atkins School, you got to hatch chicks. I mean, that was a long time, and they still remembered it. So it makes an impression, and they learn an awful lot. You know, they learn that chicks aren't born, they're hatched, and a lot of other little things they pick up along the way. So, but I do warn you, you will be surprised at the parents that show up.
Well, we'll be delighted to have them. And the 4-H has been a great partner. They're loaning us the incubator because we don't have one, obviously. All right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Wonderful. Anyone else wishing to speak at Citizens Time? At this time, you can come forward and talk about anything we're doing right, anything. We'll even listen to things we might be doing wrong. So this is your chance. Hearing none, I'll close Citizens Time. We're getting into old business now. The Budget Committee. Sean, you want to take that one?
I'd be glad to, sir. So the Budget Committee had a meeting on March 16th to continue their the budget work sessions, but the first two items were, I'll get those out of the way real quick. Budget Amendment number 11, the amount of $741,090, included a CSA supplemental request of $607,886. I would say about $430,000 of that was FY22 costs that were paid in July and August. So if it wasn't for that, we would have just a much smaller budget request, supplemental budget request. The rest of the amendment includes the fire department turnout gear of $30,000, trash compactor $17,000. The change order for the building use plan study, $36,000, and the regional housing planning grant that we received, it was awarded a year and a half ago. We're finally getting a bill for it, so we need to go ahead and put it in our budget so we can pay the invoice, and that's $50,000. Following discussion, Supervisor Sturgill made a motion to recommend approving budget amendment number 11 in the amount of $741,090 as presented, and Mr. Atkins seconded it, and it was unanimously approved, so you have a committee recommendation.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed likewise? Sounds like it was unanimous.
Next item they discussed was the fourth quarter appropriations. I won't go through the list there, but the total appropriations that we need to consider is $22,449,882. After we presented that to the committee, Mr. Sturgill made a motion to recommend approving the fourth quarter appropriations in the total amount of $22,449,882 as presented, while Mr. Atkins seconded the motion, unanimously approved, and another recommendation from committee.
All righty. All those any discussion on that one? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed likewise? Sounds like it was unanimous. Now to the meat and the potatoes.
Right. The best part about the whole work session, budget work session. Of course, we had a presentation from the school board about their school budget request that nobody knows what's going to happen, but we do have a goal. Hello, Mr. Call.
I apologize for being late. One of my nighttime caregiver for my wife was caught up in traffic, and she just got here.
Well, you got in the right time. We're getting ready to get to the exciting part of the meeting.
That's great. I'll make it exciting what it is tonight.
We got you approved and ready to go.
So the school board gave their presentation on the budget request. We're hoping to move our way toward 115% of required local effort. It's not going to happen in a year. It may not happen in 3 years, but the goal is to have that. We also had the community colleges come and make a presentation for their budget request. But the most exciting part of the night or the evening, I'll ask Dr. Hutchinson to give a quick little summary of, and then maybe Ms. Helton and some folks will want to chime in.
Well, thank you, and Mr. Chair and board members, thank you for the opportunity to be with you tonight and talk a little bit more about what we think is a wonderful opportunity for the residents of Smyth County. Credit where it's due, this conversation started more than a year ago. I remember meeting on a snowy day at the Chamber building with Mr. Rutt, talking about this concept and starting to work the numbers and think about the number of students that may be impacted and the opportunities that are there. The slide deck that you've got on the screen is the one that I shared with the board, and we'll move quickly through it right to the next one, just to give you a snapshot of what's happening in public higher education for Smyth County residents. On the far right-hand column, you see the total number of Smyth County residents enrolled in public higher education, so no matter where they went in public higher ed in Virginia. But for perspective, I included Whitfield Community College and Virginia Highlands on the list, so you could get a perspective that the majority of the residents of Smyth County participate at the two local community colleges that are tasked to serve them. I'm pleased to be joined this evening by Dr. Dean Sprinkle, the president at Whitfield Community College. I'm so grateful for the friendship and partnership that we enjoy in serving the residents here. So this is the total enrollment. So this is everyone, adult learners, immediate high school graduates, and high school students participating in dual enrollment. The next slide zooms in a little bit and looks specifically at Smyth County Public Schools seniors. So the total number of graduates is the fourth column to the from left to right in each class year. And we get that data from the Department of Education. And then just for the sake of reference, included the number of Smyth County seniors, so that's that graduating class that attended their local community college. The interesting number is perhaps on the far right. When students graduate from high school, they get the opportunity to declare their intent to attend any 4-year or 2-year college, and the state kind of collects that data. That doesn't mean this is the number of students that actually attended. It's the ones that declare their intent. So that far right-hand column is the percentage of students graduating from Smyth County Public Schools in those given years who said they were going to go to college. And while there's a lot to be proud of, there's clearly a lot of students not participating in college. 2019, that data wasn't collected, so in case you're wondering where that number went, it wasn't collected by the state. Next slide. One of the challenges that we felt like was to be overcome was frankly the financial hurdle for attending college. We see the stories, just like you do on the news or in the newspaper. Across the country, about $1.75 trillion is held in student loan debt nationally. We know in the community college system that the vast majority of that debt is held outside of the public two-year community colleges. Students don't accrue debt participating for the most part in a two-year community college program. And in fact, we know that public higher education is more affordable than ever. And so there on the screen for you is listed just a quick snapshot of some of the federal and state aid that's immediately available to Smyth County residents. What we know, however, is many residents don't know that that aid is available to them to participate in college. So we'll go to the next slide. And this is a more zoomed in snapshot. So we're kind of going step by step. And with the help of our data team and our business offices at our respective colleges, Dr. Sprinkle and I, we're trying to answer the question, well, how much do students actually spend out of pocket? If they apply for financial aid, if they go through all of those resources that were on the screen, what does it really cost for a Smyth County high school graduate or a graduating class to attend college? And here's the answer. So for a 5-year run, you can see the number of students that attended our respective community colleges, and then the tuition and fees after all financial aid is paid. So the far right-hand column is your snapshot of what Smyth County high school graduates had to pay out of pocket to get a college education. And so what? Cumulatively. That's correct, yes. Not each. Cumulatively. So if we took the whole class, thank you, I appreciate that, Ms. Steele. So class of 2022, for example, you have 106 students take community college classes, and the total out-of-pocket tuition at the window after applying for financial aid, that's the number that was left. I put an asterisk on the VHCC column in 2021 because it gave us a really unique data point. In that year, Virginia Highlands self-funded a Promise program where we guaranteed every Smyth County resident that wanted to participate that we would pick up the last dollar scholarship. And in that year, it cost Virginia Highlands $33,000 to make sure that every Smyth County resident who wanted to attend college could do so. That's a long way from the $1.75 trillion debt that people think of when they think of student loan. I say all that to say college is really more affordable for Smyth County residents than I think most residents recognize. And so the proposal that we brought to the Budget Committee and that myself, Dr. Sprinkle, Mr. Utt, members of the Smyth County Community Foundation, and a whole bunch of other people have been working on for the last several months is this next slide. And what we've called it is a Smyth County Promise. There's a few criteria that we proposed. I'll offer immediately that the first one was already adjusted. We initially said, what would it cost to make it available to immediate graduates of Smyth County Public Schools? But credit where it's due, the Smyth County Community Foundation stepped in and said, we want to make sure that every Smyth County high school graduate gets the opportunity, and that includes homeschool and private school students. Their families are part of this community too, and they've got a bright future. We want to keep them close. So in your mind, edit that top bar to that the Smyth County Promise would be available to immediate graduates of public, private, homeschool in Smyth County, the class of 2023. So we're focused on this year's high school graduating class, enrolled at their local community college, either Wytheville Community College or Virginia Highlands, starting, and we modified this a little bit, with the goal of starting right away. We know that students who start college immediately after finishing high school are much more likely to complete on time, and enter the workforce immediately. So one of the adjustments is to start in either summer, right after high school graduation, or the fall. If they need to start in spring, we've got some opportunity for them there. But we added actually an incentive for students to start in the summer after graduating from high school. There are some programs where it may be beneficial for students to complete prerequisites. It's a last dollar option. That is, a student must apply for all other sources of financial aid, beginning with the free application for federal student aid, all state aid, and local college scholarships before any funds would be applied from Smyth County. So when I say last dollar, it's tuition and fees only, and only what the balance of a bill may be after all other sources of aid are paid. To be eligible, a student must complete all of those other applications. Any funds may be applied toward a degree or certificate, and this is where credit where it's due. The Smyth County Community Foundation and your county administration really is visionary. They recognize that in addition to pursuing a traditional college degree or certificate, our colleges offer great opportunities for employment through traditional, non-traditional workplace credentials like CDL or construction or fiber optic technician or electrical line worker that don't require a traditional college degree, but they're funded in a different mechanism. And the vision was to apply those funds towards those opportunities as well. The students could either pursue a workplace credential or a traditional college pathway. And to guard the investment, no refund would be offered to students. So if life happens and a student needed to drop a course, withdraw from training at that time, the money doesn't go back to the student. The money follows the county and the future investments that the county might be able to make. So we'll work in our business offices to make sure that if a student needs to make an adjustment in their schedule, drop a class or change their courses, that any refunds would go sort of back into the pot, as it were, at the county and not be refunded directly to students. This is a remarkable opportunity. And I'll just say before handing it off to Ms. Helton from the County Foundation, it has really been a delight to work through the process. As you might imagine, there's a lot of number crunching in the background. We want it to be affordable and accessible, and there's still work to do because the last step is really making sure that families in Smyth County know that this group is committed to the education of its citizens, starting in a small target market of its high school seniors, but we're asking high school seniors in Smyth County to gain an education here, gain those workplace credentials and skills here, and grow a family here and stay here in Smyth County. And I think the Smyth County Promise provides a great opportunity to do that. So thank you for your consideration of it. I'll turn the podium over to Ms. Helton.
Thank you. I'm Linda Helton. I'm the Executive Director of the Smyth County Community Foundation, and it was interesting how all of this kind of came together because we were talking about funding at the same time that your group was talking about funding, and the fact that we could come together and partner on it to make it such a much bigger offering to our students is a great opportunity for all of us. And so we definitely will be bringing to the table that we are sponsoring students that are in medical fields, that are in behavioral health, education tracks, and so forth. That ties directly in with what we do as a foundation, that we focus on the health, wellness, and education of our citizens of Smyth County. So we are excited to offer up a partnership where we can take all of the dollars, we can interface with the community colleges, and along with you, we'll be able to put the program together to pay for the last dollar. So our board has voted that they are in support of this, and so we're very excited about presenting that to your board. Do you all have any questions for us about the partnership or about the scholarships themselves?
Mr. Chairman, I have one quick one. It appears that you're using the language immediate graduates of the high schools. Is there any mechanism to allow someone to delay before they go in? And if so, what window of opportunity do they have to go
To start
the following year, the following calendar year, so they're out of the educational system, say 365 days?
So how we have it structured is that this is going to cover 5 of the 6 consecutive semesters when you are out of high school. And so I used the example just yesterday that if a student applies to Virginia Tech, goes there for 1 semester, decides that's not for me, and comes back, then they can enroll in this. They would have lost that first semester, but they would still have the other ones that they would be able to have the same benefit. So it will be for those first 2 years out of school that the same thing would be for somebody that enters the workforce and decides that, you know, I think I would like to go back and get that. So they would be able to start and as long as it's within that 2 years. And the whole goal with this is to encourage students to start directly out of high school, because that's where they see the highest level of success. And the foundation is looking at other programs that we're looking to implement that will help folks that are career changes and so forth, so we could address that need. So this one is very specific to students entering pretty much right after high school.
Okay, thank you.
Mm.
I'd like to come on. And being a former high school principal for 11 or 12 years, I can tell you this will be is greatly needed and will be greatly appreciated by a lot of our students in the county. And I do think the point you made earlier about the students with a better chance if they do this of staying around here, I think that is 100% correct. So I think this is a great program, and I think it'll be a great asset to our county in many ways, not just in education, but also in CTE curriculums, also for the programs that you all have at your community college. So I think it's a win-win all the way around.
Can I give one other point too? So in order to enter the program, we do not have a grade point requirement to start with. And that was to allow a student that maybe didn't do their best during high school, but wants to take classes, maybe wants to get a certificate or enter one of the career programs. And so the requirement for grade point average is pretty much to stay in it. The second year there is a grade point average, because we want to make sure folks that are coming in are taking it serious. But we felt like it was, and I think Ms. Dill brought that up, that this would be a big thing to give some of our students a chance that they didn't feel like they had before.
Being a numbers person, who is going to be the ultimate say on who's in and who's out? In other words, who's going to maintain the official records of these students?
The
I can speak
colleges.
for something colleges.
Each
Yes,
college will do
each
one.
college is.
So each college has currently existing scholarship programs, and this would be considered as one of those types of programs, and each college is staffed with a cadre of advisors and coaches and administrative support people to help both advise students well and manage the back office record keeping. We report that back to the foundation so that they could track student success and participation rates.
Just wanted to make sure we had that in.
Yes.
We referenced it earlier, but I wanted to.
Thank you.
So there are similar programs in Withwell Community College does now with Bland, Grayson, and Carroll County students. So honestly, we've been able to learn a lot from that. Take the successes from that. Another, I think, side benefit from it is the students are required to do volunteer hours, community service hours in it. And the thing I love about that is that I feel like some of our younger citizens are not involved in civic groups and so forth. So I'm hoping this gets people into doing some volunteer work with different organizations around the county, and that would just spark an interest to keep on volunteering. So just another little side benefit.
Mr. Chairman, if I can make one comment, I just want to say how much I appreciate this program. I can't praise it enough for the collaboration and the partnerships. For a long time we've heard this county doesn't invest in young people or do anything for young people, and I can't think of any greater program than this to invest in our young people that also gives us a return on investment. And we were talking earlier about generational poverty and giving a sense of hope to some of these children who come from families where generational poverty has been the thing for them. And just giving them that sense of hope and opportunity is incredible, and I'm really thankful to see this, and I hope this board votes unanimously to approve this program. So thank you all for your work.
Yeah.
And I want to challenge the school system since we got the superintendent in the back of the room. I want to challenge the school system to make sure their guidance counselors really, and I mean really, gets the word out to all students that this is available. Because that's the first place it needs to be. You know, they need to know when they're sophomore year, hey, if you can go to college. So apply yourself. You know, don't mention that you don't have to have certain grades, but just you can go to college, and your guidance counselors are the ones that can really push that.
Well, and it has been great working with both of the colleges on campaigns to get the word out, to get the information out to parents directly, and then also out to the students. Great opportunities for doing some advertising within the school, and so I think this is going to be a great program.
And also the timing of this is very important, because right now is when seniors are making up their minds what they're gonna do next year, so the timing is extremely important.
I have a question also. As far as, the parents, being involved with this, ahead of time, is there meetings and things like that will?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
So I want to make sure I understand your question. And this is about how we're going to communicate with parents?
Right, just before they get to the point of, entering into the college system.
Certainly. So the short-term plan, and I'm going to speak for my colleague, but we're equipped and ready with our respective financial aid teams. We'll work with the school district. What I would anticipate happening is we'll host some financial aid and application workshops at the respective schools. We think that's the easiest way for people to manage it. We recognize that the free application for federal student aid is a federal document, and you can just interpolate how complicated that can be. So but we've got staff that are experts, and they will guide parents through how to complete the document, what sort of documentation they need to support that work along the way. So to Mr. Sturgill's point, we recognize we've got some work to do on our side. Full credit to Dr. Carter and the Smyth County school staff. They're ready to meet us halfway and make sure that parents understand how to do it. I think there are websites ready for switches to be flipped and all that sort of thing as soon as we have approval to move forward and start the communication process. But I guess what I would offer to you is that the colleges are excited to go make sure that every parent has all the information they need to make a good decision.
Yeah, because those are intimidating applications and so forth that have to complete, but they have to do it, but I think that with the assistance from the colleges as well as within the high schools, having resources there, that we definitely want to give them the information, the help, the guidance, whatever, even if it is just kind of stepping them through that form.
And
I guess that's what my biggest question is some type of workshops or something like that.
We'll host those probably at the school districts or maybe in some community locations.
Or in the libraries.
Or in the library. We have a pretty good traveling road show to go help families. And you should be, I hope you'll feel confident that people will respond positively. When Highlands did a program like this last year, almost 100% of our Smyth County students completed the free application for federal aid. So if they understand that you are going to get help if you go through this process, and this is what you're offering in your vote tonight, they'll participate in the process.
Thank you.
I have one last question. I live by the motto, if you're not first, you're last. I want to know, are we the first county in Virginia to do this?
We're the first
But
county for Virginia Highlands.
You will be the
Yes.
Okay,
We are the first
Right.
county to do that for Virginia Highlands.
wonderful.
Yes. I know, I do like to be first
Yes.
also.
Well,
There's
we
a little bit of
typically follow
competition.
Our neighbors, our neighboring counties, we're always behind them, and I want to be ahead of them for once.
Right.
Ms.
Right.
Deal, I will offer that this will complete our service area for offering Promise programs. So we congratulate you on that and allowing Smyth County students to have the same opportunities that all the other service area students have.
Angel will be the first publicly funded Promise program for Virginia Highlands.
So we're first on the west and last on the east. I'll take it.
Let's just say we complete the circle.
Complete,
Okay?
I like that.
I like that terminology.
All right.
Now, you know I'm excited about it. Anyway, don't wanna be a stick in the mud, but, you know, we have this little thing, we always button up against where current boards can't obligate future boards. If with this board tonight not if, but when we adopt this tonight, that's not a problem down the road, is it?
I think it'll be incumbent on me or whoever's sitting in the seat to make sure that it works into the budget process. That's, you know, in the grand scheme of things, with the foundation involved, I think they're the ones that they're the glue that makes it all come together. We're looking at it's a six-figure investment, but low six figures, you know, 100,000-ish, 200,000 when we get to the year two. So it's not a huge investment for the potential that we can get out of it. But yeah, I think it'll be incumbent on me to make sure that's part of the budget every year.
I just wanted to make sure that we could continue down the road. I just think that's important.
I agree.
So, any more questions? Thank you.
So following that same discussion during the budgets committee meeting, Ms. Deal did make a motion to approve the Smith Promise Program as presented, with Mr. Sturgill seconding it, and it was a unanimous recommendation from your committee.
Okay, any other questions?
I think Mr. Cole was trying to say something. Maybe.
Roscoe, did you have a question?
No, sir. I was just gonna say, y'all was saying we're the best in the east and west, but we're the best all the way around.
Well, I'm gonna call for the vote on this. On this one, I'm just gonna have you take a roll call vote. That way, since Roscoe's on the phone.
Absolutely. I'll find my cheat sheet. Mr. Atkins?
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill?
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson?
Yes.
Dr. Ratliff?
Yes.
Mr. Widener?
Yes.
Ms. Deal?
Absolutely, yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Unanimous, all 7 members. I'm happy we're all here for that.
And I will say we're hoping to have an official rollout announcement tomorrow morning at 10, if any of y'all can join us here in the boardroom.
Lori's gonna take my place. She got kids that'll use it someday.
This will be real important, real soon.
All righty, we thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
for-
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good to see you all.
That's all we have for the budget committee report.
Thank you again, because a lot of work went in to get it here, and it just goes unseen. Thank
y'all
you
for your support.
Thank you.
Didn't need to run everybody off. All righty.
I didn't think they were allowed to leave.
They don't get the full. Well, let's just do the insurance committee and get it out of the way. And who is that, so?
Dr. Ratliff.
Chris?
If the chairman doesn't care, I would defer to Mr. Rutt to take the lead on covering this.
Okay. So the insurance committee met on the 16th at 1:30, and with just one item to discuss. We had our health insurance premium update. Our premiums begin in July 1, 2023, will increase 9.9%. In the past, the county has paid 80% of the employees' cost and 79% of the dependents. So the recommendation was to continue that practice. I think we actually, after we talked, was it 80-20 or 80-20 overall was the way the numbers have been put together. So that was what was presented to the board. Following the discussion, a motion was made by Mr. Sturgill to recommend maintaining the insurance proportional rates with the 99.9% increase. Mr. Atkins seconded the motion. It was unanimously approved as a recommendation to the board. I did note that we're discussing with the school board to look at options for self-insurance, self-funded insurance, which might give us some more control. But for us, we need to have that now for next year rather than preparing for this coming year. Anyway, there's a motion recommendation from the committee.
Okay, any further discussion? Everybody understand what the vote is? We're voting for the
80-20 split.
80-20. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed likewise? I didn't hear anybody opposed to it. All right. New items, resolution to proclaim April as Child Abuse Prevention Month. I believe we have a young lady here wishing to come forward, and I believe you're going to give a speech.
Yes, I'm just gonna make it really quick. My name is Lynn Rasnick, and this is my partner, Alpha. He is a facility dog. We are with the Children's Advocacy Center. I'm a licensed therapist there. Just really quick, there are two of us who are licensed therapists. I see the little ones up to pre-adolescent, and then my other co-worker, she sees adolescents. I wouldn't want to see adolescents. I like the little ones. So I use Alpha in our work. He has a job just like most of my coworkers. He knows what his job is. So April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month, and we want to thank you for being champions for children. The Children's Advocacy Center of Highlands Community Services has been working with Smyth County's investigative teams and service providers since 2014, and we do have a satellite office in Marion, and it has been open since 2019, in case some of you weren't aware. In the past fiscal year, we have served 72 new child victims of abuse and neglect from Smyth County. These children ranged in age from toddlers through teens from all parts of the county. The CAC provides forensic interviews, mental health services, victim advocacy, and connection to specialized medical treatment. None of this would be possible without the strong professional relationships we have with Smyth County law enforcement, prosecution, Department of Social Services, Mount Rogers CSB, Smyth County Schools, Juvenile Probation, and Family Resources Center. Again, thank you for making Smyth County a place where children can live and grow safely. If anybody has any questions, just feel free to ask. Also have a picture of Alpha. The symbol for child abuse, in case you are wondering, is the pinwheel. So this is Alpha with the pinwheel. Where most people, or most organizations have the ribbon, the pinwheel is for child abuse.
Thank you.
I think we submit landscaping out here usually at this time, don't we?
Yeah.
I would just like to thank you for all you do for the children in our communities, and especially having a center here. It is just so much better for everyone all the way around.
Yes.
And, you know, everybody that's involved. I work for the sheriff's office, so I'm a little bit familiar with what you all do, and it's such a benefit to the children in our community.
I don't know if you guys are aware, but let's say a child has to have a forensic interview. Prior to us being here at the satellite office, the officer or Department of Social Services, the family, the guardian, would have to travel all the way to Bristol for the child to have the interview, which you know how far that is. And the interview sometimes takes an hour, hour and a half, and then there's that travel back. Well, let's say the child lives in Atkins. That's quite a bit of, I mean, that's a hard day for a child. On top of that, you have, you know, a difficult story to tell. So with us being here local, it really cuts down a lot on that travel time. And then we provide the services here as well. So it does make a difference. And like I said, you know, 72 new child cases. So I know that's not what you want to hear, but you know, that's reality.
I have a question real quick. Do you have like a roster of phone numbers that I'm kind of thinking in my mind, if you had like a little something like this with the various departments and contact points for people to reach out. Because right now, in my mind, if I have a question about how to report something, I don't know where to begin to make the phone call. Yeah, we'll say Department of Social Services, but where specifically? And
Just
you might
call
wind up working down a tree of 3, 4, 5 different people before you hit the right person.
Right, you call sheriff's office or just to make a report to, Child Protective Services. And then they start that whole system rolling. So, you could call us, but then we're gonna in turn tell you to call the sheriff's office or, Department of Social Services, but we can give you those, contact numbers if you would like that.
Can someone file a report anonymously, or do you have to put
Yes.
your name
Yes.
into it?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
That happens. I mean, sometimes we have to do that. If I'm seeing a child, I have to do that sometimes as well.
And most of these, Mr. Al, most of these cases a lot of times come through the sheriff's office, whether it be through another agency, could be the schools or wherever, or they may directly contact Department of Social Services for CPS. But and that's, as she said, that's a lot of times how that information gets to where it needs to go is usually through that first call, a lot of times through the sheriff's office, and then they, the officer or maybe a social worker or somebody like that may take it from there and then.
Right. It kind of goes through a chain.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. And I'm glad Alpha was on his best behavior the other day.
Can I say one thing before you leave? I work in the school system and in our central office, and there's rarely a day goes by that I don't either make a home visit and see this or deal with a principal on the phone about a situation like this. And Courtney's exactly right. I mean, our SROs are extremely valuable in our schools.
Yes.
But until you go where some of these kids live and see where they come from, it's really, I can't say how much we appreciate what you do.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
I'm astonished by the 72 new cases when you consider we got like 4,600 students in school. That's your probably 5-year-old to 17. You got 200 or 300 homeschooled, and to think you have 70 new cases when you have a lot of ongoing cases, that's a lot of children. More
And
than
that's just
more than you
here.
realize.
We also cover Washington County and the city of Bristol, so we have a lot of
More
cases.
power to you.
Yeah. So thank you very much.
Before you leave, I have in front of me here a resolution proclaiming April to be the Child Abuse Prevention Month. And I'm going to read this, unless you want to read it. And it says, whereas the Smyth County Board of Supervisors recognizes that over 7,000 children in Virginia were determined to be abused and neglected in 2022, and whereas child abuse and neglect has been demonstrated to impact a victim's physical, mental, and emotional health in ways that can have lifelong consequences, and whereas effective child abuse prevention programs succeeded because of partnership among citizens, human service agencies, schools, religious organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business community, and whereas child abuse prevention is a community responsibility and finding solutions depends on involvement among all residents of Smyth County, now therefore be it resolved that the Smyth County Board of Supervisors proclaim April as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Smyth County and urges all citizens to work together to reduce child abuse and neglect and ensure the health and safety of its youngest citizens. Adopted this 23rd day of March 2023. I'd like to entertain a motion that we approve this,
So moved.
and I'd like to have a second. Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed likewise. So, do I give her the copy?
I'll know.
Got something here so you won't go away empty-handed. And I'm gonna give this back to you so you can pass it out to someone else.
Well, thank you very much.
You want to get up here and get a picture?
I didn't get around to put my tie on.
That's
It's okay.
forgot
He
Charlie.
definitely has.
No, not Charlotte. No, what about Charlotte?
I was like, why did you ask her?
Smile.
I'll get one a little closer.
She just took a picture of the dog.
That's all I really wanted. I'm just kidding.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chief.
Thank you.
Saltville Library architectural proposal.
Okay, so the next item, as Ms. Likens alluded to, we've worked through the RFP process for the Saltville Library project. You may remember this is being funded by the Appalachian Regional Commission grant. In your packet, you have a draft proposal from Interis Design. I think by far they were the most experienced firm that we talked to, that we heard from. Great presentation and great results from references. The total project for their portion is $81,532, with a few add-ons if we have funding available later on. So what I'd like to ask, since this is funded fully by the ARC grant funds, I'd like to ask for approval of the agreement and authorization of the county administrator to execute on behalf of the county.
So moved.
Have a motion?
I'd like to speak about that, Mr. Chairman. I really appreciate what's going on with this library. They need it, and the work done and all that stuff. It's just really good, and I really do appreciate everybody's assistance with it. And I vote yes.
Mr. Call, since that's in your district, I will take back my motion. I'll let you do that if you would like to.
I would be honored to. Thank you very much. I make that motion.
Still have the same second, so, all those, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? All right, sounds like it was unanimous. We're having a lot of things happen in this county. I hope we continue. Lost my place again. Yeah, it looks like it. Have we covered everything but?
Your new item for the National Agriculture Week,
I was thinking there was something.
it's in your folder.
Yeah, this is one I sort of pushed.
Yes, sir.
Where is it? Oh, okay. Lori, would you like to read that for
Sure,
us?
I'll be happy to, Mr. Chairman. I would like to make a motion to adopt the following resolution in support of National Agriculture Week. Whereas National Agriculture Week is celebrated in March with dates announced by the Agricultural Council of America. This year, the holiday celebrates its 50th anniversary and commences on March 21st and ends on the 27th. The week celebrates and acknowledges the agriculture industry and the role it plays in stabilizing the economy. And whereas our founding fathers understood how important it was to have a fertile place for farming to grow. George Washington once said, agriculture is the most healthful, most useful, and most noble employment of man. Thomas Jefferson added, agriculture is our wisest pursuit because it will, in the end, contribute most to real wealth, good morals, and happiness. And whereas agriculture is Virginia's largest private industry, the industry has an economic impact of $82.3 billion annually, provided more than 381,800 jobs in the Commonwealth. And whereas agriculture is the leading industry in Smyth County, historically agriculture contributes over $50 million to our local economy, and much of that total is spent locally. Our leading commodity in the county is beef cattle, which represents over 96% of our agricultural totals. And whereas Smith County Ag is not limited to beef cattle, we are sources of everything from pumpkins and Christmas trees to small ruminants like sheep and goats to fruits and vegetables. However, making sure that agriculture remains viable is up to all of us. And whereas no other nation on earth can match the United States in military strength, industrial might, and agriculture production, agriculture helps keep America, Virginia, and Smith County strong. Now therefore be it resolved that the Smith County Board of Supervisors hereby proclaims March 21st, 2023 through March 27th, 2023 as Agriculture Week, adopted this 23rd day of March, 2023.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I heard everybody but Roscoe.
You got me now, brother.
All right. All right, unanimous. And I thank everyone. You know, one of these days people are gonna worry. Right now we take our food for granted. If we keep that up, we're not gonna have it.
That's right.
We don't need to give that to anybody in particular. We should have done that and given it to soil and water people. Now, I guess we're ready for our lawyer to tell us all the things he's done.
When your lawyer's quiet, that means things are good, right? I've just been working on various things as they come up. The EDA's been very active lately in investigating real estate opportunities. So helping with that a little bit, and then just various things that come up. Still have on my plate to get Riverside and Churchland Drive moving. That's near the top of my pile. I was hoping to get on Riverside this week, and I haven't done that yet about the service issue. But other than that, unless you have any questions for me.
Any questions for Scott?
I do have one. There is a property on the interstate up here on the right as we're going towards Wistful that's burned out and has a tree growing through the middle of it. I can't remember the exact address.
Yeah, Mr. Williams can respond to that one.
I had a constituent ask about that, and I just wanted to see kind of where we're at on the process.
So a complaint has been filed, nuisance complaint. A letter has been sent to the owner. So we're going through that period of time where they have a chance to respond. If they don't, we'll schedule a public hearing and bring it before the board.
Okay, thank you.
Where's this at?
Up there on what's the address?
It's the service road right before you get to utility on the right. If you hadn't asked me, I
It's
would
a
have told
burned
you.
out house. I'm the same way.
Oh.
Cleaned up brush and
Oh.
found cars in the brush.
Right in front of the gigantic utility parking lot.
Yeah, on, that's no road name.
Right off of Nick Street. We're off.
That one.
That's it.
I'll figure it out. But
I literally just said that name 2 days ago, driving by there. I was like, huh? I try to remind myself sometimes of all these roads.
Thank you.
I can't think of what it is.
Well, we all know it.
Perry Lane?
No.
I literally drive by
No,
the
it's not
sign
very late.
twice a day. Sometimes 4 times.
I drive by it a lot.
I'm on the wrong exit, I'm sorry.
I'm
I was
looking
gonna say,
for it
Mike,
right
pull it
now.
up on your-
Do we need to?
I
I wanna see who can get it fast. What is it, Mike?
You said utility, right?
It's
Yep,
right
go
here.
over
It's
it.
this
It's
road
right
right
there.
here.
That's on the,
It's just a little road.
okay,
Yeah, that is Perry Lane.
Perry Lane.
Yeah.
So which house is it?
It's one down here. It's burnt out.
Perry Lot, that's why Perry Lot, that's why utility calls it the Perry Lot, cause it's over by
on
Perry
Perry
Lane.
Lane. Perry, yeah.
No, and I just said that.
That's it.
Perry Lane, okay. All righty, so you're working on that one then, or will be?
I thought you said.
Clegg's working on it. Hopefully Clegg gets it resolved. Sometimes his letters kick people into action.
Well, the owners are living in Saltville now,
They are.
so.
Yeah, we have an address on them. And I've been in touch with them on another matter, so hopefully they'll respond.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Attorney?
No, sir.
All righty. Report from the county administrator and staff.
I just have 4 quick items that were in your folder. The Appalachian Center for Hope, they have a group they call the work group that is helping to lead the charge and direct the the design and everything of the future center. They're asking for an elected member of the Board of Supervisors to join that work group. I'm part of it, but I think it would be good to have some buy-in from one of the board members. They meet every month on I want to say it's the second Wednesday at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's a Zoom call. It takes sometimes 30 to 45 minutes, maybe an hour every now and then. But it keeps everybody connected, and I think it's a great group to be part of. So I've been asked to see if there's any volunteers.
I'd love to, but I'm stretched so thin right now, I can't.
I guess it's in my district.
It's in your district, right?
It's in your district.
It's a Zoom
I'll do
call.
whatever. Yeah, I wouldn't mind myself to be involved with that.
I'm volunteering, Mr. Widener.
Unless somebody
I'll
else-
second that volunteer.
I'll let Mr. Graham know.
All right.
The other three items are just dates for your calendar. The Adwolf Mart, they're doing a grand reopening ribbon cutting on March 28th at 10, next Tuesday.
Yes.
Tuesday at 10. Want you to try and be there. The tourism study, so the Tourism Association did a countywide tourism study and visitor study. That is going to be presented Monday, April 10th at 5 o'clock here in the boardroom. I'm expecting some great stuff out of it that we can act on, so wanted to get that on your calendar if you're able and willing. Last item, we have scheduled this year's Household Hazardous Waste Collection Day for April 29th at the Career Technical Center in the 7 Mile Ward, starting at 8 o'clock. In future years, we want to try to tie this back to Earth Day, but this year it's the weekend after Earth Day. That's all I have to report unless you guys have any questions.
I don't know whether to ask my question now or wait for supervisor comment time, so I'll blurt them out now if that's all right.
Sure.
Status of the compactor.
Compactor 1 has been delivered and installed in Atkins, and the second one has been ordered, and it's a 4-week.
Yes.
4-week
So
turnaround.
we're 2 or 3 weeks out on that one.
Okay, but that one's just for the landfill.
We're going to put that one in Sugar Grove.
We'll put that, I think that one's going to Solvable. It will replace our second oldest one. And then that one is still worth keeping as a backup should another one go down.
So we use the Saltville one as the backup at the transfer station.
Sounds good. Second question, Student Government Day. It's just around the corner.
April 20th.
April 20th.
That's also Opportunity Fair Day.
So we're aware of that and moving on with it.
We're actually have voluntold Ms. Louthian to help lead the charge as one of her projects.
Okay.
She's taking it and running.
Ms. Louding, I talked to 2 government teachers today. They are working on some great topics.
All righty, so I guess that's all my questions for you. Anyone else have questions for Sean or staff? Okay, I guess it's supervisor comment time now. First up is Mike.
Well, I'd like to say, turn my mic on. First of all, I think the Smyth Promise is going to be huge in our county. I think this is a great investment into the future of our students. There's so many kids, even with community college, who can't go because of financial needs, and this can take care of it. We used to have the AIM scholarship through the Tobacco Commission, and that got cut out, which took care of Chilhide Northwood. So really, all 3 schools had a big need, and I'm tickled to death. I think we did a great thing there tonight. Second thing I was going to tell you is our lab grant is going forward with the Emory School of Health Sciences. We're finishing up the curriculum, and that final grant will go in. Hopefully, we'll get approved for that, which will be a really nice thing in our county, because we are orchestrating, but it'll involve Wood County, Washington, Smyth, and also the city of Bristol. And the third thing, Dr. Carter and I were meeting in my office this morning on some things, and we just want to say how much we appreciate the work that our school resource officers do in our schools and how much they do behind the scenes that nobody ever sees. That, if there's one thing we do in funding here that is a huge help, you can't imagine how much help they are. So I want to say a huge thank you to all the school SROs. Thank you, Courtney.
Thank you.
All righty, next up is me. I just want to thank everyone for what we're getting done here, for the cooperation, open discussions that we have. I want to thank the staff. I want to thank the audience. It's good to see people here tonight, although it's sort of thinned out. You know, maybe we should have done it backwards, but it's good to see people here that do take an interest. Good to see the newspaper here. That's about all I have to say. I'm thankful for, very thankful for all what we got going on here in Smyth County. Next up is Chris.
Just real briefly, circling back to the educational opportunity, I don't know if I missed it, or did they discuss the possibility of transportation from our townships to the campus? And the reason I ask that is when I lived in Buchanan County, there was a busing service from Buchanan County to Southwest Community College. Granted, it was 4 or 5 in the morning, I'm exaggerating, when it left Buchanan County to get there for the early classes and didn't leave campus until later. I think it's great that we're going to have some money available for these kids to go, but if they don't have wheels to get them there, I don't mean to sound ugly, but it's a little bit of an empty promise if they truly can't get there in some fashion, and that could affect some. So I think it needs to be looked at, the possibility to look at that. The other question I have, and forgive me for being ignorant on this, do we have a transit system that goes from Marion to Chilhowie to Saltville?
Yes.
At any point in time?
District 3.
Mountain Links.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I'm just ignorant. I didn't realize that.
And I'm going
The
to,
blue buses that you see in town.
Yeah.
I'm going to comment on that too, in that we now have a route going between Bristol and Virginia Highlands.
Okay.
And we've got a grant application, we got money in the budget, I'm on that board, and we got money in the budget to expand that even more. We already have some service between Wythe County and Wytheville and Marion, but we're looking into what we can do for students. So it's not being ignored. But District 3 is the one that's providing that support.
Okay. And one last comment. I've talked to several folks in the community, and what's growing and being done on the emergency response landscape is not going unnoticed. I'm hearing very positive comments from various people about how quickly they're seeing response from the EMSs and the fires, and just the peace of mind of knowing that when they hit those digits, those 3 digits, they're going to be looking at somebody standing in front of them pretty quick. So I just want to throw that out there, that I'm hearing positive feedback from people about that. And next.
I want to add to that first-hand experience. I don't know, most of y'all know where I live in relation to the fire hall. My daughter lives on Floyd Spring, my oldest daughter lives on Floyd Spring Road. When my wife fell here a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, she dialed 911, well, she dialed my daughter and then dialed 911. The rescue squad got to my house and was picking my wife up and putting her on the stretcher before my daughter got there from her house. And, I mean, that was unbelievable. They were there quick, and
Would not have happened without our new station.
without our new station, she'd have been laying there on the floor when my daughter got there. So, I'm happy we got that, and a lot of other people are commenting the same. I'm hearing it too, Chris.
Yeah.
So, thank you. Next up, Mr. Wyber.
Again, I just want to reiterate everything everybody's saying about the college stuff. I think it's amazing. You know, I had attended Wytheville Community College myself for a semester, and because of military duty, I was not able to go back for some time. And I know from experience doing it again later on down the road, it is very, very difficult to get back into. And I just see so many benefits of this to our younger generation. And I think it's on our shoulders too, as a responsibility to make sure that we're also pushing that information out as well. Not just on the schools and the colleges. But moving on, I also want to remind everybody about the, I think is it the Sound the Alarm event this Saturday. It's going to be in the Atkins community from 10 to 1 with the Red Cross. And I think that is also with, is that with the State Fire Marshal's office as well?
Atkins Fire.
Do we have that information on our website?
It's on the Facebook page.
Okay.
We're gonna use the cafeteria at the school. We've got all that worked out with them, so they're gonna use that as a base.
I had planned on going. I went to the last one. It was a very productive event, and I don't know now with some things going on if I'm going to be able to make it, but I would strongly encourage anyone that can to attend that. There's some people in our community that definitely need this. Just they may not have the means to get it. They may not have the means to install it, whatever it may be. And you know, just for what little bit that is a major life-saving tool that could help somebody in an emergency. Other than that, I just want to thank the staff and everyone for, again, everything you do, Mr. Farthing, for everything he does. Every time I get excited about something going on, I turn around, there's something else coming up. So, like you said, Mr. Chairman, I mean, if we can just keep this stuff going, it would just be great. We've got a great board, and I love working with all of you, and look forward to more things in the future. Thank you all.
If I may interrupt the chairman, I think right now we're known in the county as the board that did away with the closing Wednesday of the convenience sites. Maybe now we'll be known as a group that did the Smyth Promise. I hope that's a step up. I hope. Laura, you're next.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I too just want to say what a pleasure it is to work with this board, and it's nice when we're talking about positive things instead of putting out fires. Now we're building our momentum, which I'm thankful for. Speaking of putting out fires, I appreciate the comments on the fire and EMS, and I know we have some folks here that serve on EMS. Thank you for what you do to serve our citizens in this county. And with that said, I want to encourage our towns and folks that we're trying to all work together to best serve the citizens. And I believe we as a board have put aside politics and focused on serving people, and I want to encourage other folks to do that as well as they're moving forward with plans on different things. So also want to thank our farmers. I think there's unfortunately a lot of people, not only in this community but around the United States, who don't realize where the food comes from. A lot of our kids think it comes from the grocery store and McDonald's. Unfortunately, they don't realize the hard work that our farmers put in to make sure we stay fed. So thankful for our farmers and for agriculture being the #1 industry here in the county. Also want to say this past Monday, the 20th, marked the 20-year anniversary of the war in Iraq, and Mr. Widener here served our country in that war, and I just wanted to thank him for his service for that. And it seems like such a long time ago, but it still has a huge impact, I'm sure. We appreciate you for that. Also, excited about the Smyth Promise. I'm anxious to see the results on that as we continue to move forward. And my hope is that the young people who go through those programs and graduate not only work here but live here, raise their families here, and we'll continue to see folks stay here instead of moving away to pursue other opportunities. And then also just wanted to make a note with Child Abuse Prevention Month for April. I can't say this enough. If you see something, say something. I know those numbers are, astounding when we hear them, but there's probably more. And even there's been, this is what we know about. And I know a couple times I've called the sheriff's department and said, hey, I might be saying something that's not accurate, but please check into it, just because of the situation and how it looked. And I think it's better to say something instead of not, because we never know what some of these children in our community are living through. So with that. that, thank you all for all you do, and, I'm excited to see what is coming next that we can talk about.
Mr. Stevenson,
I'm good.
Roscoe,
Yes, sir.
your turn.
I'd like to thank the staff for keeping me above board here while I'm away. They make sure I get the proper numbers and everything, and, if I don't respond to them within a few minutes, they're right back at me again. I have to do it, but no, really, I can't wait to get back up there. You know, I had to still have my shoulder totally redone again because rotary duct failed to mend and they took it from out. I done that, and then I also had constructive dental surgery. I've had 2 surgeries in 5 days. So.
Well, we miss
Too
you.
old to do anything with you. That would bore me too much. But y'all keep the prayers up. Y'all are doing good. I appreciate all my good friends praying for me. Keep doing it because it's working. And everybody be safe going on.
All right, anyone else got any comments? Sean, you?
I was just gonna say, in next item being recess, if I could have 20 minutes, I think I can get through the closed session, if we could go ahead and do that, and then come back and have the planning commission, that way we'd be able to leave after the planning commission.
All
Do
right.
they need in here at 6:30?
They can go somewhere else.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
All righty, who wants it?
Ready?
Yep.
I'd like to make a motion to enter in closed session under Code of Virginia, section 2.2-3711, A3, discussion, consideration, acquisition of real property for public purpose, or of the disposition of publicly held real property regarding Atkins EMS station. Also under A4, protection of the privacy of individuals in personal matters not related to the public business regarding EMS operations. And then under A5, business and industrial prospects, discussion concerning a business or an industry considering expansion for which no previous announcements have been made regarding Project Bowtie.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise?
Okay.
Floor is yours.
First thing.